Welcome back. It is still, just about morning here in the Tiger Pit training facility, CrossFit. I hope you guys like our new layout. It was Favor's birthday yesterday, and we thought we'd get him podcast stuff.
Come on.
So we can all do a podcast better.
Come on.
Obviously, he loves his presents.
Obviously.
The guy is like, no, I'm joking. It's not his present. It was just, he's just so happy. Look at him.
Like I'm giving, bro.
Yeah.
I'm like a kid in a candy shop.
Yeah, I mean, smile.
It's like, yo, I'm geeking out.
Yes, bro.
Geeking out, bro.
I mean, the shave looks great. Bro, that looks
I
so,
didn't
so smart. Look at it, No, you're looking good, folks. Happy birthday, bro.
Happy birthday, Faith. Might be at 22. Wow.
Thank you so much.
What was I doing at 22?
No, I know, right? Let me sip my coffee there quickly.
Yeah.
I don't know what
I wasn't setting up a podcast, that's for sure. And so the best is yet to
the
come.
future is
Amen.
bright, bro.
Come on.
Yeah, we got a guest appearance today. Thanks, Max, for joining us. She's come out of hiding behind Favor, so we set it up so that everybody can actually see her.
Come on, Max.
The setup's never been my idea.
Yeah, I know, but we can see you now.
Yeah.
We can see you.
Oh, it's
We're
good.
like glad to make
Very
a
good.
way.
That's it. Okay, let's dive right into this thing. Today we're going to talk. The topic's going to be coming clean.
Coming clean. Coming clean.
That's deep.
That is deep. I mean, I think most people when they come to the gym, they think we just arrived here one day, and you just you walked in from the street and you had training. You had the character to push hard. You became a coach. You loved fitness, and you're kind of in shape. You did some stuff to get yourself that way. But I think a lot of people think you just arrive and become a CrossFit coach and that's it. There's a story behind it. There's a long story behind it. And we're trying to hit all the elements because hopefully, some of you can relate to some of the stuff we say.
That's right.
The whole idea with the podcast is that there's that you can relate. Because if you can't relate, then it's just us talking. And the whole idea is to throw the conversation open so that there's there won't be massive communication from you guys to us, but that we can give you our story as well.
Hopefully it resonates with some of you.
Yes, and we want to get everybody on the panel talking today. So the topic today is coming clean.
Coming clean.
Coming clean.
Coming clean.
Coming clean. Okay, so it's not a clean and jerk.
Stop washing yourself. You're so dirty.
It's
You're
not
smelly.
like that.
Coming clean.
It's a bit of a story about how about the stuff we might have gotten up to where we are now. Not to get to where we are now, but the story, part of the story, part of the journey, part of the process. Coming clean is talking about things that you don't really speak to other people about, or you wouldn't speak to your neighbor about, unless you've got a really good relationship with your neighbor. But it's not something that you would discuss with everybody.
Yeah.
It's maybe something that is quite personal to you, and it is maybe something that it's not that you're ashamed of it, but it's something that you'd rather not talk about than talk about. So what we want to achieve today is we want everybody to give us a bit of a chat. When I say coming clean, Lou, what does that bring up for you? Not the whole story, but just...
Yeah, I know. I mean, you can look at it in two parts. So, as Eddie said, it's coming clean. So, it's like coming out of the shadows type thing, or things that that you got up to when you were younger, or issues you might have had, mindsets that were restricting you, which led you to do certain things, and then coming clean in the sense of clean eating as well, on that flip side. So it's coming clean in all areas of your life. So for me, it really hits, it hits the nail on the head when it comes coming clean with your life and topics that people don't really want to talk about.
Yeah.
call them taboo or whatever. But yeah, I don't know if you can.
Yeah. All right. So you might be sitting there thinking, what are these guys talking about?
Yeah.
What is the elephant in the room? Well, okay. So let's talk about this. I'll start a little bit, and then we can work away from there. So when I was younger, not much younger, but I remember being about 15, 16 years old, being in boarding school, and being in boarding school with boys, 300 boys in boarding school, a farm school. So we were quite rough. Rugby was the only sport, and being able to perform at a physical level was required. 300 boys in boarding school, all 300 played rugby. So if you played for the first team of the school when you were 18, that was, you've achieved, you've made it. All right. So along the way, you're a young kid. I was quite a chubby kid.
Mummy's boy.
Not too bad, baby.
Yeah,
Come on.
Mummy's boy.
Mommy's boy. Maggie is so right there.
Very savage.
Maggie said that
Come on,
is
guest star.
like golden boy.
Yeah, okay, so I was a mommy's boy. My mother would have wrapped me in cotton wool if she could have.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Best move my dad made was to say, no, you're going to boarding school. Okay, so, anyways, long story short is I was fluffy, I was chunky. Chunk is a good word.
Yeah, I think a bit of both, eh?
Chunk.
I was chunky.
Chunk and
Being
fluff.
in boarding
Fluff.
school, I might have had moves. Might have.
Whoa,
That's
that's
big
deep, bro.
shout.
Might have. And where I'm leading with this is I started to develop body dysmorphia. Is that the right word?
Yeah,
I should have Googled it before I did it.
I did, don't worry, I've got that covered.
Cool. So is it like this? Is what I look in the mirror is not really a reflection of what I see in my mind?
Yes,
Yeah.
and you constantly will tell yourself, you always pick up the negative things about yourself and hone in on those things and not actually look at where you've come from and your progress in other areas. So you will always look at the faults and then like everything else is void.
Cool. But in saying this, now it's like immediately it's a revelation to me. It's like sometimes these things in life eventually start to, it doesn't define you, but it pushes you into where you need to go.
100%.
Because I saw myself in the mirror, I saw myself a certain way because I saw myself as this 15-year-old chubby kid. And what happened is it drove me to start training, to start exercising. At 16, I got into the gym. Actually, at 15, I started going to the gym. My dad bought me a membership,
Wow.
and things started changing. And I used to sit and watch the guys that I wanted to look like for hours. These guys thought I was doing weird stuff. I was just sitting and watching them. And when they left the gym, I would go and do exactly what they did. So I'd write down what they did. I saw the reps, I saw the scaling, I saw the option, and it was all bodybuilding back then. So immediately as soon as they left, I would go and I would try and pick up the weights. Obviously I couldn't, but try and pick up the weights they lifted. And over time, I started playing rugby, and obviously this drove me to train more and train harder. But even when I was playing rugby at a decent level, training at a high level, now I didn't have a six-pack or whatever, but I was definitely not fat and obese, but I still saw myself like that when I looked in the mirror.
Wow.
Then I would take my shirt off, can you believe that? So for me, there's a freedom in taking my shirt off in the gym, not because I think I look good, just because I don't care. I don't care if people think whatever they think of me.
That's big.
I don't even care if what there's a freedom. So for me, it's not a case of, I'm looking good or what. It's a case of, there's a freedom. I don't care how I look. I don't go to the beach, I feel the same, because for many years it wasn't there. So my thing, we can touch on it later again. How do you perceive yourself? How do you actually think of yourself, and what is reality? I think is something like that. So coming clean for me wouldn't be coming clean, I did anything wrong. And coming clean isn't that you did anything wrong. You might just be trapped in a situation, in a mindset. That's maybe what it is. You might just be trapped. And now when I look in the mirror, I'm happy with what I see. I love what I see. Not love what I see in a narcissistic way. I love what I see because I know there's a lot of hard work being put into it. So I don't care what other people think of the way I look. I care of what my wife thinks and what I think, because I've put, and I do daily, put a lot of hard work into the way I look. So for me, it's not a case of I'm not narcissistic. I'll have cake on the weekend. Fada's birthday, I think we
Just
celebrated
so
about.
that
We had a lot of cake.
We have about 7 celebrations.
No, we
celebrate
hit it
Saturday,
hard,
Sunday,
eh?
Monday.
I felt it on yesterday.
Yeah, actually, I felt like I had a handbrake on.
Yeah, I felt I had to unhook the hot dog stand. I went for a run, I ran from home to the gym, and I thought I was pulling a hot dog stand the whole way. I was like, unhook this, brother. Unhook it.
So I still have fun in life,
Yeah.
but it's just the perception has changed, you know. And I'm now turning 40 next year, and thank God I'm at a place where I don't look at myself like that anymore, because things have changed in my life, obviously. So
Wow, that's good.
coming clean is me just revealing that to you in a nice way.
Come on.
I
Everybody's
think
got
there's
a
more though. I
story.
think there's
Coming
more.
out.
She's scratching.
I think there's no more. I think we finished now before I have my chocolate. Love it. It's a protein bar.
It's a protein bar.
Chill out.
And
Chill out.
protein
bro.
shake, protein coffee.
Protein.
Okay,
Max?
well, I'll tell you what, Mag,
Go on, Max.
Go on, Max.
Come
do
to
you have anything?
Well, most of you probably know I've been dancing was a huge part of my life, and in dancing environment, that's where you can really lose it. You can deceive yourself. You know, I went to university where ballet was the main thing to do every single day. And I've never been built to be a ballet dancer. Like, that's just the truth. I was like a black sheep. But
Special.
Well, like, explain when you say black sheep. Do you mean like they were like everybody else has a certain?
yeah, so my background is not really like technical. I'm more like energetic. It's like street dance. It's more vibrant and dynamic rather than be so soft and gentle and, you know, being so skinny and so light.
So,
And I've never been like that. I always
Yeah.
had shoulders, you know, so that was really a big thing for me. I literally tried everything, I think, to fit in, you know, into that group of people. And, you know, I worked hard for those 3 years. I've never given up. And I just thought, you know, if I just commit and I stick with it, even though I'm not the best, I'm not even average, but through my hard work, they kind of, you know, there's still a progress. And, you know, so through that, the mindset I had, it's been 3 years, you know, I did what I really enjoyed. It was my passion to dance. It's not just ballet, there was a jazz, so I enjoyed that other side. But ballet was like the main thing that teachers were looking at, and, you know, the degree was all about ballet, technique and all of that. So for me, that was a huge part where I just had to find myself. And yeah, so through that 3 years, it was just like, you know, constantly comparing yourself to others.
Yeah.
And, you know, like, my muscles are pretty visible. Like, I had legs where you can see there are muscles, like, I'm
still
muscular.
do.
I think more so now.
More so now.
Maybe a little bit.
World record
I think
carry holder.
some of the guys are jealous of your quads. Bro.
Yeah.
It's like it's
Quadzilla.
flipping crazy. Bro.
Yeah.
Eesh. Carry on.
Yeah, so, so my point is, you know, ballet dancer needs to be, your muscles are there, but they like inside you, like you look so skinny and so light, but you're very strong inside. So that's a huge part for me, and I just, you know, I tried to fit in, but at the same time I just couldn't, you know, like I did all I could, and, you know, working constantly on what you eat, and I became a vegetarian for 3 years actually.
Sure.
That was a terrible decision, but that was...
I don't know if you can
Sorry,
say that.
all vegans out there.
Sorry, guys.
We love you all. We love you all.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the decision was there, yes, I did cover it with, oh, I do care about animals and all. But my reason, and it's all good, but my reason was just to become lighter and become skinny and, fit
Wow.
into the
To
group
be
that,
someone that you weren't, that you're not.
Yeah.
yes. So, well, it's been 3 years of constant, I don't know how to say, like a battle. You're never satisfied the way you look. You work very hard, like you're constantly on diet. You can't really enjoy food. And it's like up and down constantly. So, it's a hard time for young girls especially, and
Wow.
you have certain
Sure.
image you want to look like, but you build different way. So, deep inside, like, I kind of knew my place is like, weights or like some like CrossFit. I didn't know CrossFit, but I knew, like, deep inside of me, I knew I've never been built for ballet, that wasn't my pathway, but I had to go through it to see and realize that it's just, that's not who I am. So, yeah, everything, long story short, it led me towards CrossFit, which is amazing, and I just found myself, and from there, it went well.
Yeah. That's deep.
It's great.
No, it is. Just to add to that, I think at that age,
Sure.
I think you were quite fortunate to get away from it because you're a strong individual and you've got a strong mindset. But I think for probably a lot of friends that were with you probably went through the other side of it, where they had a really bad relationship with food, and they probably went to extremes to try and curb it and try and lose the weight.
Yeah, that's
And that kind of thing. So I mean, I think you're very
Yes.
fortunate. I think you realised that early on that I'm not really made for this, and I want to move on. But I mean, I think it's a very sad thing that
Yeah.
you have people that get pigeonholed a certain way, and if they don't conform to that, then they
They're
fall
losing
into a
themselves.
bad they fall into a bad state. Yes. So Lou, what did you say?
Yeah, I
about
mean, I
coming
think
clean?
just touching on what Meg said there and just continuing really, I think it's a massive thing in today's society about the relationship with food.
huge.
It's huge. It's something that people don't talk about. People see food as, yes, you must enjoy it, and yes, it needs to nourish your body and stuff, but it's the relationship is abusive. People are overeating or, seeing food to fill like emotional comforts, or seeing food when they're moody, they then resort to food. So it's like a default setting. Whereas, what is the root of why you're feeling like that? I think that's where we need to kind of face in ourselves and address, what is the root? Why do I want to revert to chocolate? Why do I want to revert if I'm feeling low? Why do I want to revert there? So the relationship with food, okay, same thing, coming clean, okay, is a tough topic, because I speak from that platform. I had serious issues with food. I'm not going to go into massive detail, but growing up, I love my dad. My dad, pretty much provided this place for us. We'll get into that story one day, one podcast, and how Tiger Pit came about and how the tiger came into the picture. But it is very symbolic. And my dad was Amy knew my dad very, very well. But growing up, I was at boarding school, but growing up, he made us very conscious about, the gravy on the plate or what we ate and the way we presented ourselves to the world.
Yeah.
That the way you present yourself is what you will attract, and I agreed with that, but it got to a certain point where in my head I was like, I had to look a certain way to be accepted, okay, and which developed into some serious issues at boarding school. Like I would train so hard, I would bunk out of boarding school to go and run, 3 times a day, you know, but I was also driven, so it coupled with being driven to make, you know, hockey teams and that type of thing. You know, I was a very driven person and I enjoyed training, and at boarding school is pretty much all you do really if you are a sport team. But it got to the point where I wouldn't like go out with friends and go get McFlurries and go do that type of stuff. When McDonald's first came to South Africa, I wouldn't touch McDonald's. I wouldn't even go near it. I wouldn't go with my friends. I wouldn't allow myself that, you know, because I had, you know, I would just sit and eat fruit and eat vegetables, you know, and I was actually turning yellow with my vegetables I was eating, you know. Yeah, it was like, I was serious, had some serious issues with food.
Wow.
Very much so, and when I used to go home and stuff, I used to like run the treadmill and not eat much, and you know, I think everyone goes to that stage when they're young because they compare themselves, and as Maggie said, you compare yourself to what you shouldn't actually be. You compare yourself to that girl that has a totally different body to you. And yes, I'm not saying don't strive for excellence and don't strive for the best person that you can be. But what I am saying is that you need to, like Annie said, look at the reality of it. Look at your body type and shape. You know, anyone can change if you put in the hard work. But you can't get obsessive, and I got obsessive, and it was dangerous. You know, obsessive to achieve, you know, the dreams I had, but it wasn't a very healthy way. You know, and I think that's why I'm quite passionate about the program and about habits and lifestyle change, and really and seeing food as fuel, you know, and seeing food as to fuel your lifestyle that is active, that is healthy, that is balanced. And for us, that's a major thing because of what I went through, and I saw food as stay away, man. Like that's not good for you. Like don't eat carbs. Like, you know, don't eat that, and it's. Yeah, so that's a little bit. Oh, and yeah, I mean, there's still more, because the well is deep, bro. I can go further.
Keep that. I know where you're going, but keep that. We're gonna still go into.
Yeah, man. I think I've done a lot of talking there.
Yeah, no, that was good.
I want more.
You look shocked, babe.
I was like yellow. I was like, what?
Yeah, bro.
That's deep.
I didn't eat potato vegetables in boarding school. Yeah, man.
No protein.
Never used to drink glass of milk, fat. Yeah, man, I was messing the head, China.
Faith, I mean, you're a young 22-year-old 10-pack standing young man. What is are there little stuff in the closet?
To be fair, I think with the whole idea of food, for me, I've never really thought about what I just eat, bro. When you're young, you just eat. Young men, they don't really think about what they're eating, but they just eat. I mean, I've never been a chubby person, ever. Never. Yeah, I've always been. I'm just saying, bro. I've never. For me, I think for me, it was opposite spectrum to you, where it was like I've always been like we learn about body types in school.
Yeah.
And, you know, you've got your ectomorph, and you're naturally skinny. Then you have your muscly guys who they're just built, bro. And then you have the chubby guys who are naturally big. And I've always been a skinny guy, but I feel like, especially when you reach a certain age, like your teen years, when those pictures, or not pictures, but you know, things you see on TV, the media, that stuff is thrown. It's just 100%. Constantly thrown at you. And I think it's with the generation where I grew up, where you have social media and you have things like that, where you know. With a generation where social media started becoming a thing, and you see the Instagram models and all those guys, and then you want to be like that because that's cool. And like I think for me it was more like, okay, now I want to be big and I want to be muscly. So I'm like, how can I change my body type to be like a muscly person? And you kind of have to go through the struggle of realizing that learning how your body, to make your body operate at its best for you, rather than trying to be someone that you're not, if that makes sense. You know? I mean, it's one of the reasons why I decided to join the gym was because I wanted to get bigger and I wanted to look bigger, and it frustrated me that blessing he could just lift up a dumbbell and he just grew bigger. Big Saul he just looks at the weights and he gets big. Like
Yeah.
he just so easy for him, and he just goes and he's big. And I think it played in my head a little bit, but I think I've grown past that now. I think with CrossFit and coming to do CrossFit, the idea of CrossFit is performance. You know, if you're doing CrossFit for the look, you're in the wrong place. You know, you really gotta. It's about how you can get your body to perform at its very best.
That's right.
You know, the look is a secondary thing, but I think it's mostly about performance. And I think just doing CrossFit has completely changed my mind about appearance and, like you said, body dysmorphia. I'm not afraid to take off my shirt.
Yeah,
you know,
you should be.
got the. sorry.
Inspiring.
Yeah, come on.
I need some of that text.
But 100%. I feel like, and I think that's such a powerful message in CrossFit. It's not about the way you look. It's about your body is an amazing piece of machine. And you can get your body to do some amazing things if you just practice. You're consistent. You eat well, move well, sleep well. Boom, you can do that.
There's a part I want to allude to that because that's very powerful. There's a right way to do things and then there's a wrong way to do things. And I think most of the people that watch this are grown adults with kids and stuff like that and have learned many lessons throughout their life. But there's a right way to do things and there's a wrong way to do things. And with CrossFit, with what we do here is CrossFit. If you stick to this and the umbrella, so the eating, the sleeping, the recovery, and the training, and you do those and you hit those elements, and then flexibility, but that's with recovery. If you hit those elements correctly, you will see results, and you will become the best version of yourself. That's kind of a guarantee. It's not even a wishy-washy maybe. It is a guarantee.
It will happen.
Because if you train 5-6 times a week for an hour at high intensity, under load, over broad modal domains, you eat correctly and you eat the way you should eat by fueling your body for the workouts.
That's right.
You recover well, you sleep well, and you stretch and you do what you got to do. You void all these bad habits or all these bad mindsets, because what you're busy doing is going to get you to the right place. You apply the right principles, you get to the right place. And I think that is, to allude to that, I think that is exactly what it is that we offer here at CrossFit. Okay, so let's just rewind on this whole thing. So, in hindsight, the stuff that you did, the way you thought about yourself, the way you did all these things, for people that might be struggling with things. Okay, so you might be sitting on the other side of this camera and you might be thinking, you know what, I struggle with that because and you can now go a little bit deeper into the other things that you can then say, I did this and this and this, but it wasn't worth it because this and this and this.
Yeah, I think in life there's always a trade-off. There's always going to be a trade-off. If you're going to be so fully into one thing, something else will have to give way.
100%.
You can't maintain that. Something has to will fall. And with me, I had body dysmorphia growing up and whatever, and I thought to be a South African hockey player I had to look a certain way, and I to perform had to look a certain way. And so I would literally train loads. I didn't know much about weight training much. So I developed, number one, an unhealthy relationship with food. And then I started to think, okay, well, how can I speed this process up? How can I get those quick fixes, which we all want in life, that microwave mentality, that how can we get this quicker? I need this now. So people will revert to steroids or drugs or want to lift heavier, then they go to the hardcore drugs because they're so desperate to get to a position and a place, to be up there, to get the recognition, because that's all actually we all want, is that recognition that, wow, look at that person, that she's doing great or he's doing great, look how far he's come, and that's great, but coming clean, doing it in a clean way, that's where you'll show character.
100%.
And for me, I was like, oh, how can I get this thing quicker, man? How can I look ripped quicker? And then, listen, team, I was addicted to diet pills, man. I was addicted to fat burners, thinners, you know, pre-workouts that were that would like obviously shred you, and it's very easy to get addicted to it because it gives you that kick and it gives you that oomph to train. And I started using it like before hockey matches, just to kind of give me that kick. And back in those days, bro, those days, there wasn't much, you know, like to give you that kick, to give you that stimulant, like that. I want to go, I want to flip and rip this chick's head off, you know, in the field. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I'm a very calm person, very chill, relaxed. So I had to really take something to get me going, and the only thing that worked was a fat burner, high caffeine. As I remember going to hockey tournaments and trying to go to the coffee shops and getting like 4 or 5 espressos before a game. I just slot 4 or 5 espressos just to get that kick, just to get me pumped for the game, you know. And it's like it spirals out of control.
Wow.
You know, it can spiral out of control and lead from one thing to the next.
Wow.
And it's only to like recent years, you know, I think I would have that default. I need to take fat burners. And actually, guys, that alters your personality, may I just say. Fat burners and things are dangerous things because you become something, you get short-tempered, you don't become a good mom because you snap at your kids, you don't become a good wife because you snap at your husband for an unknown reason. And it's a true thing. Before what? That's the trade-off. That is the trade-off. You want to look ripped, but then you're not living an honest and clean life.
Yeah.
You know? So stop looking for quick fixes. Stop looking for, you know, quick processes, and because in that process you're going to build the character. Hard work, you know, it's the hard work does pay off, you know, and I had to learn that. I had to really learn to achieve, you know. My husband says, "Oh, you're looking good, Lou." And I have to really think hard. I have to really think. I always look at that negative bits, you know. But I've had 3 kids, and I need to also accept that, you know, I'm not going to look like a flippin' supermodel, you know, or a flippin' Tia Claire Toomey or whatever. But you can strive, guys. I'm not saying don't strive, but you can strive. What I'm saying is that don't have that trade-off, and you know, don't look for the quick fix. Stick the process, and trust the process. Trust your trainers. Trust where you're at. Trust where you're positioned. Trust your gym. You know, just keep going. Keep going. Keep coming. And you will achieve what you want to achieve. But it's not going to happen in a week. It's not going to happen in 2 weeks. It's not going to happen. I mean, I used to be able to lose fat in a week. My body could change quickly. If I ate clean for 1 week, my body changed completely. Pre-35. But I hit 35, not even 33, like, it slowed down. It slows down. So I could literally, just a week eating clean, my body would change. You know, so... yeah, that's what I would say to people. Don't compare yourself, stick the process, don't look for those quick fixes, stay away from fat burners. They're not for you. They shouldn't be for you. Rather, take a Nocco or something, I don't know.
That's it.
Take an espresso.
That's right.
Just one, not 5.
I'm looking at you, mate.
I mean, just from a real point, there are no quick fixes.
No.
That's right.
There just aren't any quick fixes. I'll give you a quick story about trying to get a quick fix, and it was a flippin' joke. I lived in a sports village, and in the sports village there was a guy that did jiu-jitsu. Is it jiu-jitsu? What's the other one? Judo.
Judo.
Eastern European guy. Crazy. Nuts. Went to the Olympics back in the day when the Olympics was full of drugs and stuff like this.
Wow.
And the guy used to always say to me, you know, you're quite small to play up, and then that's another can. You're not going to go in that. The one is actually deeper than
that was deep.
Yes, I mean, well, again, tenacity had to be built in because I was always the smallest on the field, so I need to. Anyways, so this guy used to always say, but you're so small, and why are you so? And I was like, bro, just chill out. And he was like, and he's like, he's like a flippin' judo guy. He's not even knows about rugby. And he's like, I can help you. And I was like, what do you mean you can help me? And he's like, I've got a guy that I can take you to that can help you with medication.
There's always that
to
one
get
guy.
bigger.
But
I mean, confused.com. That was me. I was trying to do the right thing in life, but I didn't. And then this guy whispering in my ear, and then eventually I said to him, okay, cool. Let's go. So we drive to Johannesburg. Now, if you know that Johannesburg is dodgy, very dodgy place in South Africa, very bad.
Victoria, good.
Yeah, this guy drives me there, but he drives me into like Brixton, like bad. Not Brixton, like Brixton in South Africa, a different game. And he drives into this dodgy block of flats. And I'm already thinking my car, it's like it was a nice car, and I was like, this car's going to get broken into, I know it. What am I doing here? You know, and it is around about that time, you know, that I kind of started going to church and stuff like that. So I was battling.
Conflicted.
Battling, you know, I
want
to be good, but I don't know how to. But I'm small. The Lord understands I'm small, so I'm going to get bigger now with steroids.
Wow.
Let's say it like it is. So anyways, we went into this flat, another Eastern European guy, he starts laying out the drugs like
My word.
injections and anything. Man, and he says he's got clients, lots of rugby players, lots of clients. I'm like, who's coming through here? Anyways, I get the stuff. Little pills, pink pills, dye or something, I can't remember. So we get home, now I'm sitting there at home, I've got the pills, I know the cycle I have to take. It's pre-season, so it will wash out before the season starts. But testing wasn't big in those days anyway. So I'm sitting there now, I'm conflicted, man. I'm like, oh, shall I take it or shall I not take it?
You're telling me you had him right there.
I had it in my hand.
Listen, this is the first time I'm hearing this story. I'm going to be married.
I told you this.
Oh my word.
This came up now when you talked about shortcuts. I'm giving you the big
They're
shortcut.
getting in the wild.
Anyways, I had a guy that lived next to me, and I knew this guy was stealing my meat in my fridge. He was a dishonest cat. But he was even smaller than me.
No way.
And I paid a lot of money for this drugs, right?
Oh my word.
And I was inside, I was like,
How much?
like 500 rand back in
Hey,
the day.
that's
a lot.
That's a lot of pounds.
Not a lot of pound, but for a student, it was
Back
like,
in the
it was a
days,
lot of cash.
Wow.
It's like a full grocery shop.
I called this guy to my, and it was, again, that was even as bad as taking it, that's just as bad. I called him to my room, I said, listen, bud, I've got the stuff. It's going to make you bigger, a bit stronger. It's going to cost you 600 rand.
Don't tell me you sold him to him.
I sold it to him.
Oh my god, no way.
I sold it to him. So, I mean, I'm ashamed.
Is he alright?
It's fine. I mean, he probably drank the whole thing. I mean, it's crazy. This guy was nuts. But anyway, so, I'll tell you a story about that guy one day.
Did he get bigger?
No, he didn't get bigger. Not more aggressive, he didn't get bigger.
You see these things, they do weird stuff to you.
My point is just, there is no shortcut.
There is no
That's
shortcut,
right.
man.
Even if I had taken the stuff, every time I would have run onto the field, I would have known I was here as a cheat and a fake.
Yeah.
Because the
That's
stuff
right.
that I want to do, and even if I perform at a high level, if I get an upgrade or I get a bigger contract or whatever, I would have been a fake.
Yeah.
Because you would have been cheating. So I think just bringing it back to our lives, where we don't have people paying us and we don't have all this drugs readily available unless you go on the dark net somewhere. My point is that you cheat yourself. You cheat yourself, and if you're a parent with children and stuff like this, you're going to cheat yourself because you won't be able to be the best parent because you're hiding a secret and you're living in the dark. And if you're living in the dark and you come in and you got a very bad relationship with food, or you're taking supplements that you shouldn't be taking, or you've got other issues in life, and it plays out. All these things play out. You're talking about coming clean in training. You cheat yourself, and you don't have to. You don't have to. You can come in. You can do it honestly. You can work hard. You can work hard for what you get. When that first 2-pack arrives, you're going to be over the moon because you did the work for it. You ate correctly for it. You didn't bend when you had the urge to emotionally eat. You didn't do any of those things. And I think achieving then, it tastes better.
Much better. Much better. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so that's my as a coach, speaking to somebody that might be struggling with something, what would you say? And I want to ask Magda in favour, as a coach, someone comes to you and says, man, Flip, I'm on diet pills. I'm on diet pills, I can't get off the stuff. What would you say? What would your takeaway be to them?
Get off it.
Yeah.
No, okay, let's be serious now. Okay. I mean, we're human, we want to get things quickly and whatever, okay. But really, they are not going to, you're going to stop them, and then you're going to have to face reality, because you're trying to escape from something, because you're trying to be somebody you're not. Just get off the pills, get off the pre-workouts, the rippers, the fat burners, get off that stuff, get off the drugs, whatever, if you are drugging or whatever, get off it and just and live. I would say live in the moment, live in the now, be present, be present for your workout, feel the pain, feel the people around you. Don't be so self-absorbed by your drugs or your fix or whatever it is. You know, just look around you, look up, just look up and enjoy where you're at, enjoy the process. There's refining in the process, refining in the fire. You know, so when you're in the fire, when you're in the hard, hot place, you know, that's where you're going to be refined, that's where you're going to be made, you know, so rather do it in a natural, authentic way than trying to climb the ladder that is, every rung you're stepping on is breaking, and you're trying to get to the top, you're trying to scramble to the top. It's just not worth it, because, hear me now, there are trade-offs. Sooner or later, something's got to give, okay, and don't let it be family life, don't let it be that, you know, because for a long time, that was me, you know, and I don't live in regrets, and it wasn't to an extreme, but I knew it, what I was doing, you know, I knew when I was snappy, I knew when I had to get off the stuff, you know, so my advice would be real, man, this life is so short, be real, live clean, train hard, enjoy your life, you know, be true to yourself, and don't try and have somebody else's stuff, whatever they've got, work for it, be inspired, but don't be so hell-bent to get that in 2 weeks or 3 weeks time because they've got it or they're doing this, you know, don't, just cut that nonsense out, bro.
That's right.
That's
straight up.
100%.
Yeah, Max, what would you say to somebody that, you know, it's not that they feel out of place, but they walk in here and they're not achieving what they'd like to achieve. So same with you when you were, you know, you saw the ballet, you saw the stuff, and you know, it's not that they don't belong here, it's that they're looking at other people and thinking about other people, what they can do, like you just said. But what would your answer be, having gone through what you went through, to somebody, you know, feeling like that, feeling disjointed?
So, well, CrossFit is a functional fitness, it's a functional movement. So that's something that everyone is able to do. Like, if you break all the movements down, you know you are able to do it as a human being. Like, that is just a fact. Okay, so it's only that pressure that you put on yourself that you must do advanced movements. Okay, so that's the first thing. I think it's first of all the mindset, where we just need to come to the point where you want to be honest with yourself, like we said. You just need to meet yourself where you are at.
100%.
Otherwise, you just won't be able to progress. That's the only truth. You're gonna just go a little bit forward, step back. You know, like falling down, up and down. You want to have a clean process.
That's right.
You want to have step by step. It's like baby is learning to crawl, then it's learning to stand up, then it's like, you know, walking by this chair or something, and then it's like walking. So it's very similar with CrossFit and your progress. Okay, so you know, once you make up your mind that you know where you're at, and you're just gonna enjoy where you're at, and from there you will see the progress will just come naturally. It's gonna happen, you know, after a week of doing you know, knees to chest, then you are able after a week to do one toes to bar, and it's gonna come naturally, because that's how CrossFit is designed, really.
That's right.
To, you know, so there's no quick fix, like we said. I think that's one of the most amazing point here. There is just no quick fix for anything in life, like, and once we make up our mind that that's just the fact, you see how quickly you progress.
That's right.
I think
That's good.
that's a good thing.
Yeah, and you're gonna win some, you're gonna lose some. That's CrossFit, isn't it?
It's CrossFit.
There's so many different movements and things, and you're gonna win some, you're gonna lose some. Just make peace with that. You know, I think we're all competitive, yes. You know, we're all driven. I'm not saying don't be driven. Don't be driven to get your toes to bar. Don't be driven to get your first muscle up. But just remember, there's a back end. Don't just look at the front end. There's a back end to everything in life. The back end is doing simple things well and sticking the process.
That's good.
Yeah.
Flavor?
I would just say understand your why. I think that's such a big thing. You got to understand why you even started CrossFit in the first place. You know, a lot of people when they start CrossFit or start training, it's because they forget where they started. It's because they weren't fit, they weren't doing anything, and they just, like, your why is so important. I think it's sometimes it can get lost in the whole process of when you're training and doing stuff and trying to. Your why can switch to be, I just want to be the best, rather than okay, my why was I was 20 kilograms overweight and I just wanted to lose the weight and be able to spend time with my kids, or my why was before CrossFit I was never really sporty, I was never really active, I've got a long family history of bad health, I just want to change that. That's my why. You know, and even if you just focus on that and making that your why, you'll be so much more satisfied with the process that you make, because every small thing, any small improvement that you make, you'll be so pleased with, rather than making your why, I want to be the best, or I want to go to the games, or I want to. I'm not saying don't have those. Have that. It's good to have. It's good to have those goals and those aspirations to be the best version of yourself. 100%. But don't ever lose focus of why you started something.
That's good.
Always remember back to where you were before, because I think it's really easy to have a mentality where you forget how far you've come in such a small space of time.
Do not despise humble beginnings.
100%. And just remember the why.
Yeah.
No, I think that's very powerful. I think it's all good. All right, gang. We basically just broke it down. Got a bit emotional for 5 seconds.
Hopefully it resonated with some of you.
That's right.
Maybe think we're just mad.
I think I might have to answer some questions on the way home.
100%.
What else haven't I told her in 11 years? I thought I told you that before, no?
Maybe I have 3 children. No, maybe I don't know. My memory
I told you that
is
story
blank
before,
out
man. I told you that story before, I'm sure.
Good story.
I'm sure they told you that story.
I just blame everything on the birth of the kids. My memory just blanked and those parts of my mind just went. To all you mamas out there.
Come on.
In closing, this is what I'd say. I'd say, remember what you were like when you walked in here the first time.
100%.
Never forget to take stock of the progress you've made. And abide in that. You have to answer the question, have I done everything I can? I can, not someone else can, I can, to be the best version of myself.
So true.
Without cheating, without doing the wrong thing. Have I trained hard enough? Have I eaten the right foods? Have I rested enough? And am I working on my recovery enough to be the best version of myself? And exactly what Faye also said there is, remember the why. Remember why you walked in here the first time. You walked in here the first time to be a fitter person. And you found this thing called CrossFit, and now you're on a journey. But if you are on your journey and you feel I need shortcuts to achieve, we are here today to tell you, you're making a mistake. I'm not telling you you're wrong, because your journey is your journey. You might go and hit your head against the wall 50 times before you listen, but that's your journey. we're telling you, don't make the mistake we've made as fitness individuals, because the shortcuts don't work. You make it, alternatively, you become a worse version of yourself, because you're doing stuff in the dark, you're doing stuff that wasn't really ever supposed to be for you. If you just keep to the process, you stick to it, you're gonna do well. And when you come in here, just quickly, nobody in a week's time or in a day's time is going to remember where you were on the board yesterday.
That's so true.
Come on.
Yeah.
Nobody.
So true.
Truth.
You will, okay, so
Yeah.
when you turn up for the Open 2021 in February, and we turn up here for the Open and you're nervous, that's good. But don't get to the place where you don't want to perform, you don't want to do it.
It's all consuming.
You're scared to do it because of what people think. And I'm going to do the same this year. I'm going to get off my high horse and come and bomb in front of you this year. If I feel good or not, I'm going to do the workouts. If I do great, I do great. And if I don't, I don't.
That's true.
Yeah.
But I've got to keep pushing, and I've got to, because next year, 2022, no one's going to remember where you came in the Open. Nobody's remember, but they're only going to remember, did you stick around?
Yeah.
Because if you stick around long enough, you're going to get there.
That's it.
All right.
Yeah, man. Just lastly, while I just thought, like, while you're thinking about your training, your recovery, all those things, you know, just don't forget. Don't be so obsessed with that you neglect what's important. You know, and what life's about.
So true.
You know, really, training and stuff is important, but if you really look deeper, there's other things that are more important than yourself. So, you know, look past yourself a little bit as well, and look, just, there are trade-offs.
So
Don't be so gung-ho.
I think sometimes you just got to look up.
100%.
Just look up. Sometimes you can be so, I need to do this,
Yeah.
and just look up for 5 seconds.
That's it. It's been real, team.
It's been real, bro.
last thought is, the times we live in, the moment we live in, remember to stop and be thankful for what you have.
Yeah.
That's true.
Be thankful for being alive, and number one, be thankful for being healthy enough to come into this place and train.
Yeah.
Be thankful for that every single day you walk in here,
That's it.
Yeah.
because ultimately it could be much worse,
That's
and we
it.
could be in a worse situation,
That's right.
and we're not. We all have food to eat, we all have a warm bed to sleep in, and ultimately we all have the ability to come and train. Alright, so next session will be about programming, I think.
Woo! That's correct.
So all the program geeks, join in.
Come
We'll
Yeah.
talk
on.
in depth about programming. It won't be emotional. I'm never going to tell you guys I took drugs again.
I didn't take the drugs.
I didn't take it. I didn't take it.
You
But
were
in the
You didn't
hospital.
I didn't take the drugs.
That's good. I haven't been on
Definitely did not
drugs
take the
either.
drugs. I think I didn't take the drugs. Anyways, have a great
Alright,
day.
team.
Look after yourselves.
See you later.
Bye.
See you later.
Checking out.